Hello again. Okay, so in this video, we're going to talk about taking a sort of vanilla installation of Ubuntu and then installing Platform IO on top of it. I use Platform IO for quite a lot of sort of microcontroller level development. So not embedded Linux, but when we're using expressive ESP parts or little Arduino boards or something, I really like Platform IO as a way of doing development and testing with those boards. So let's get this thing installed then. If you want to look at how to install Ubuntu from scratch, we've got some previous videos. There's video number 1 that gets you going with that. There's a recent refresh I just did to install Ubuntu 22.04, which currently is the current standard release of Ubuntu. So that's now set up here in this VirtualBox virtual machine, which I am booting up for us to have a look at. And that's all started up now. So let's log into that. Now, as I've said before, I get a few issues with sort of screen resolution because this is quite a high-res screen. So I've sort of scaled up this machine that you're looking at now, but hopefully we won't run into any problems with that. First thing we want to do is to install Microsoft's VS Code. Now that's because Platform IO, although it can run on top of other editors like Atom, I think, I run Platform IO on top of VS Code as a VS Code extension. So let's go and figure out how to install VS Code. If we go to the Visual Studio Code website to download, we're running on Linux and it's Ubuntu Linux, which is deb packages. So we're going to download that deb package. That should be coming down here as I speak. I can install these Debian packages in lots of different ways, but what I find is that when that's downloaded and it appears in our downloads folder, if I double click on it, that's an improvement, because what it used to do was open up the archive manager, because a deb file is actually a sort of a zipped up file with a different extension, and that's not what we want. We want to run it through the software installation package. So let's open it with that, and that will come up. It's taking a little while, isn't it? See, there's some disk activity, so things are going on. That's strange. Oh, there we go, just took a little while. So that's going to give us the option now to install from this package code. Let's install that once our password so that we can enable that to happen. And it's now preparing and it's installing. Let's take a little break while that happens and I will go and refresh. Oh, and as if by magic, it's just beat me. It's just installed. So that now is installed. If we exit out of the installer and we run up, we can type in our search box VS Code, and we've now got Visual Studio Code up and running. What I tend to do, again, as you've seen in previous videos, is on the left-hand side here, I add to favorites, and that's so that I can more easily restart applications without having to faff around. So that tells us how to get going with VS Code, all sorts of different options. You can log in as a user, synchronize settings, this and that and the other. But what we're going to do is to go to this extensions box down here, and we're going to do a search for platform.io, and that's the platform.io IDE, which I'm now going to install. That's installing. And you can read through all about what's supported. It's really nice Platform IO. It's got a lot of good dependency management. You can pull in projects. It'll sort of try and work out what packages need to be installed to support your projects. It'll download them. Really good stuff. So it's telling us now that it's installing Platform IO Core. I think I've had this before. So we've got a problem. We can't use the platform, the Python 3 interpreter. I've had that before, but I haven't had it in quite this way. So let's do that. Let's open up what it says to fix the problem. Solution: some Linux distributives have a limited Python install. Please open up your download. Well, let's do it. Let's see what happens. Let's sudo apt-get install Python 3 virtual environment. Okay, that's going to pull that down. It's installed. I think what we'll do is we'll exit out of Visual Studio Code, and we will see where we left off. Now, I'm assuming that Platform IO did not complete installation successfully. It's telling us it. Okay, so sort of restarted where it left off then, I guess. So it's now trying to install Platform IO Core. That's worked. Great. Okay, so we had an additional step to go through. Let's reload. And what you find is that it starts at Visual Studio Code, and then as the Platform IO extension has initialized, your little alien that sort of pops up for us. And there we go. Essentially, that's all there is to it, really. That's Platform IO up and running. It can be a little bit counterintuitive to get going with this stuff. So one tip is that, this is PIO home here. If you get open, that gives you the sort of the main landing page for Platform IO, which is a good place to start if you want to create a project or import an Arduino project, which you can do, or open your own projects up. So it gives you some lists of projects here, and you can install third-party libraries. There's a really cool ecosystem of third-party contributed libraries that you can bring in for all sorts of different boards. It tells you what board support you already have or can install. There's lots and lots of different boards, and there's more that we can do here. But we're not going to go through this right now. That's just the basics of getting Platform IO installed. Next, what we're going to do is look at a specific project, and we're going to use Platform IO to do some development.